idea about this exhibit after reading an article in Fodor's travel magazine. It's about the borough of Queens. It says that Queens is the borough in New York City that you can no longer ignore. When they think of New York, they think of Manhattan. But there are 5 boroughs in New York, and one of them is Queens. When I first visited the Voelker Orth Museum, I thought it would be a very good venue for the exhibition because it's in Queens, and it's a very popular venue in Queens. The title was suggested by Voelker Orth Museum. It was suggested by the director, Lady Silverfine. And I like the idea. If I had titled it, it would have been very long. But the essence of Queens is just, the right title.
Okay. But I was thinking it was a great place to have like a party. We went there because it was a restaurant week, and the price, we went for that. And it was so lovely. And then after that, next thing I know, they were having problems, and I don't know if tax problems, some other money problems. I don't know if they reopened. But we had a lovely time there, but I really thought it was a nice place. When they had walking.
I just wanted to show what Queens can offer. It has a lot of art museums. There are upcoming galleries. They have the Noguchi Museum, very nice venue for the works of Isamu Noguchi, Japanese sculptor. There is, of course, Queens Museum. There is MoMA PS1. Okay, there's the Moving Image Museum. About films. If you want to know about films, all pictures. They're all in Queens. Well, I didn't want to make it into a travel, like a travelogue or a travel picture. I wanted to make it like more artistic in the sense like some of the pictures, especially the ones they took of the sculpture in Noguchi Museum, I converted it to sepia black and white with a little bit of vignetting on the corners to make it look old and beautiful, art, a little bit more artistic than the normal pictures. I'm working on a possible exhibition in the Philippines, especially in Baguio. I'm going to Manila, I'll be there, and then probably arrange for an exhibition in Baguio.
Right now. Yeah, just a little picture actually.
No. Okay. That's in the museum.
So it's Ivy here.
Ivy is in Spring Valley.
Spring Valley. She could come. Does she teach in that school over there?
Hi, I'm Debbie Silverfun. I'm the director at the Voelker Orth Museum, and we are thrilled to have this exhibition, Essence of Queens, the work of Carlos Esguerra, here at the museum this winter and spring. We're a small museum. We opened in 2003, and for the past 6 or 7 years we've been doing exhibitions, mostly of artists from Queens, to really have a nice showcase for people who really interpret our borough and bring really striking work about Queens to audiences here, and also have something to say and share with those audiences. Our museum does a little bit of history, a little bit of gardening, and a little bit of art. And we are in the home of a family, and our full name is the Voelker Orth Museum, Bird Sanctuary and Victorian Garden. And again, we're in the home of the Voelker Orth family. They left the property because they really thought this neighborhood deserved a local reminder of Flushing's great history, and that it's always been home to immigrant families who really had great middle-class aspirations. The family who lived here were involved with newspaper publishing, and Elizabetha was a teacher and an artist, so when we opened we said we have to have art in the house. Carlos we met through one of our programs. We always meet lots of artists here because they appreciate a setting that really allows people to get together and talk about the arts and talk about Queens, so we try to do those shows. And Carlos came to us with the idea of doing an exhibit that really talked about the essence, the places and special meanings of things for people in Queens. Now that we understand we're part of the international tourist destinations in New York City, and many more people want to come and enjoy Queens. It's really a fabulous exhibition. The work is really strong. There are some familiar places, and there are things that you normally wouldn't see in a tourist book, and they're all gorgeously rendered. So it's worth taking a good look and coming to see us and enjoy the exhibition when you do.
Just right now, as we
Passing by?
No, we wanted to come and see the house. We were rushing because we were coming a little bit late in the cold, but we didn't know about the exhibits, so it was a nice surprise, right? To find it.
It's just, I think it shows in a very few pictures the diversity of Queens, which is obviously a very diverse borough, and you know, there's yeah, you see these different landscapes, all the diversity of a place like this, and that's very good that people are reminded that so many different universes are in the same borough here.
There's a number of people
Yeah.
truly live around here.
No, well, I live in Harlem.
We're in Brooklyn.
Wow.
But we were in Flushing for just to walk around, and we wanted to check out the museum to see. And
Yeah.
so,
This is really a nice surprise, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Which one is your favorite so far?
I like the city tower. I like the colors.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Long Island
Which one do you
City.
like?
This one.
Oh, that one right there.
Yeah.
But it's really no. I mean, hopefully people will come out here and see, discover Queens a bit more, because it's a borough that deserves to be discovered. So many, so much diversity, so much communities. So yeah, come out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now working for
Thank you.
Between Prince and
So if the train's in bad shape never on the 7th, we can go back to that.
It's a pleasure to have Carlos's work at the Voelker Orth Museum. The museum is a destination for people who live in Queens, but also those who visit, to experience a house that has been preserved since the 1890s in our garden. And so having Carlos's work here is very important, because in his exploration of Queens, through nature, through shots of museums and institutions in the borough, and then also his personal interests coming through in his interest in sculpture, specifically the Noguchi shots, really give a range of different entry points for people who visit the Voelker Orth to experience art in the space. So it's contemporary art meeting Victorian house. It's very interesting and a great juxtaposition.
we're trying to figure out the year, so we have a little extra a little extra label now, but we found some family photographs and albums, and this is a picture of Teresa Orth and her husband Dr. Rudolph Orth when they were dating before they got married, or just about when they got married. And Teresa grew up in this house. She was born in Manhattan, and she lived here into her 90s and died in 1992. So we were very happy to find some shots. She went to Flushing High School. She went to school in the neighborhood, and this was her home for over 90 years. The Voelker Orth Museum is set in a late 19th century house, and we're here to really interpret and preserve the cultural heritage of Murray Hill, of Flushing, and Queens. This neighborhood grew up at the beginning of the 20th century when New York was exploding in size, and a lot of families wanted to get out of Manhattan and have some beautiful settings and raise their families in nice surroundings. And this house is sort of typical of how Queens looked in the 1890s and early 1900s. So we've really done a lot of work to preserve the house the way it looked between the 1890s and 1930. And we do workshops related to our local history. A lot of middle-class families lived in Queens, and people came from all over the world to make this their home. Louis Latimer, an African-American, invented the incandescent light bulb for Edison, and his house is about 10 blocks away. Hellman's Mayonnaise got started in a garage here in Flushing, and quite a few other artists lived here. A lot of people who worked with Louis Tiffany really drew images from nature and worked in Corona on making those stained glass windows. So it's really been a hotbed of the arts for over 100 years, and we know there are many artists here, which is why we decided to include the arts in our work with nature and local history. So we've been showing different artists, some of whom do illustrations for newspapers, some of whom make crafts that you can use in your home. Others have been sort of capturing nature and wildlife that you find in the parks in Queens. We do about 4 exhibitions a year of this work. And we also try to hold on to the German-American heritage of the family who was here, who came and published newspapers in German, so people could keep in touch with the place they came from, as well as the place they moved to. The family who lived in this house loved animals. It's one reason why we're a bird sanctuary. But they always had dogs, and they always had cats. And I think all the cats in the neighborhood know that because they hang out here. But we invited a watercolor artist who actually worked as an environmentalist and took up painting again, who lives in Manhattan. But her images really had the feel and affection for animals and companionship that typified the family here. But we do concerts about once a month or once every other month. And through the spring, we typically do programming on Sunday afternoons and do things like performances. We do 2 summers of Shakespeare plays every summer. They're free and open to the community. And we have a great Oktoberfest. We do Oktoberfest Flushing style, kimchi and sauerkraut. And we sort of mix up all of the cultures that come to Flushing, serving very authentic food, but of the different people who are part of this great fabric of Queens. And we do exhibitions year-round. And we also work with school groups. So if there are any teachers out there or parent coordinators, you can bring classes here on weekdays throughout the year, and we do some wonderful workshops around the water cycle, and the kids all make terrariums to take home. And we actually have a bee colony here and do a honey festival in the summer, but do a workshop about the importance of bees as pollinators. So there's a lot to do. We have a history of workshop as well for young children. I'm always looking for new talent or established talent who hasn't been here before, because we really like to mix it up. And I would suggest that you get in touch with me here at the museum. Again, I'm Debbie Silverfine, and you can call the museum at 718-359-6227, or you can email me at director@vomuseum.org. And we do feature artists who we meet through the internet or people who come to our performances because we realize that there aren't that many venues for people to show their work or to perform. And we've often met people at our receptions like today's program who come back and perform with us.